Good evening, all you awesome bunch of racer peoples out there. Welcome to Chaos Live. My name's David, your voice in the chaos, and I'm delighted to have you joining us for this month's installment of Chaos Live. We've got a real treat for you. As you know that the off season is very busy with all kinds of things, with people making changes in their program, getting new cars, updating their equipment, and all types of items. Some people call it silly season. Some people call it the off season, where they're really ramping up for the upcoming season. And that's happening all over the country, both from the standpoint of running the Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos Championship Tour, as we go into the 9th year, actually, that there has been a chaos of some form. And the 7th year of the Funny Car Chaos Championship, and the 4th year or the 3rd year of a championship season in Nitro Chaos. So the growth has been spectacular. Finding new people each and every race to come and enjoy the chaos. Like I've always said, there's only two kinds of people in the world: those that love Funny Car Chaos and now Nitro Chaos, and those who haven't been yet. And we're going to be talking about some things that will allow you to want to come and participate more and even more in 2025. We have our guest that's going to be coming on tonight is a gentleman that you have seen at the races. You may or may not have known exactly who he is. The racing community knows who he is, because he's got a lot of a platform and a lot of a reputation, both as a tuner, as a person with his own motorsports business and consulting business, a racer himself. And he is going to be coming on talking about some of the developments that are taking place in his sphere of influence, which a lot of that involves chaos. And we'll be talking, of course, tonight with Hanna. And he's brought some guests with him, as we have some of those things that, one of those things, you know, even when we were little kids standing at the magazine rack at the grocery store or at the bookstore, back when that was a thing, you picked up the drag racing magazines, and what did you look for? You looked for the scoop on what's coming up soon, right? So we're going to give you a big dose of that scoop for 2025, because there's a lot of things happening all over the country, and you're going to get a look up close and personal at not only some of the things that are happening in the world of Hanna Motorsports Services, but also in chaos, and something that will impact racers all over the country, regardless of your sanction, regardless of what type of racing you do. The expertise that it takes to excel and to achieve at the very highest levels in motorsports is enhanced when you take the opportunity to go to the training and seminars that are offered. You know, a lot of times in the world of competitive sports, motorsports especially, there's a lot of secrecy, and but there probably always will be. However, there are some folks that have invested themselves into gathering a lot of experience and a lot of great knowledge that will help other people in racing, because after all, if you don't have anybody to race, then racing won't be around for much longer. But we're anticipating a long and happy career in racing for you who are watching tonight, and for some of you who have yet to start your racing career. And so we've got a seminar coming up that is going to be providing a great amount of information for people who want to go racing, who want to up their game, who want to achieve that pinnacle of success that I know that most people don't get into racing just to be an also-ran, somebody that shows up at the races to be cannon fodder, so to speak. So for all those who are looking to elevate their racing program, you want to find out more about the CATS seminar. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here tonight. So I've given him a bit of an introduction, and we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's presentation. We have got the owner-operator of Hanna Motorsports Services, Hanna, and he is going to be coming in tonight to talk to you about some things that are going on in 2025, and also the CATS Crew and Tuning Seminar taking place at the end of January in 2025. So you got 3 months to make your plans to be there. But we want to get that word out soon so that you have your place secured and reserved so that you're ready for a great weekend. It also happens to be the weekend of the Champions Banquet for Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. That's coming up, of course, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Catoosa, Oklahoma. They're in the Tulsa metropolitan area. And again, that's the end of January, the first day of February. So we are very much looking forward to all of that. So we've talked about bringing Will Hanna on. And so I'd like to go ahead and bring Will Hanna into the studio, and we'll get started with tonight's conversation. Will, it's great to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to see you too, Dave. Looking forward to the show, and definitely looking forward to getting up there to Tulsa to the CAT seminar and seeing all my racing friends and family, so to speak, and having a good time up there.
You know, last year was a terrific time there, and of course, the CAT seminar didn't take place in conjunction with this Champions Banquet for Chaos last year. It took place at the Texas Motorplex, and you had a good group at that event. How was that first one?
It was really good. Got a lot of good feedback, and I felt like it went pretty good. We was able to cover a wide range of topics, and we had some good people, guest speakers. Joe Munden, added a lot to the conversation, and a lot of good conversation and discussion about a lot of different topics with the racers that were in attendance. Was pleasantly surprised to see a lot of racers from a lot of different disciplines. It wasn't just, Funny Car Chaos or local racers around the area. We had people coming in from all over the country, ranging from, we had some Chaos people, we had some NHRA top alcohol, A-fuel people, we had some nitro racers, we had some mud racers, tractor pullers, so that's always good because it gives a lot of different perspective when we get into discussions, and we're just going to build on that this year. I got a lot of mental notes of things, that I can expand upon and do a little bit better. And so this year we're really going to focus a little bit more on the tuning side of things. We're going to kick things off. It's going to be a full day of seminar on Friday, January 31st. Then we'll have half a day on Saturday, or a little bit more than half a day. But we got some real great guests this year. Last year it was, myself, Joe Munden came up and talked about nitro. This year we got renowned crew chief Rob Winland going to come out and talk about nitro A-fuel. Obviously, he has a lot of experience working with blown alcohol cars, and does a lot of stuff with the Star Racer Beltline. Murph McKinney race cars, a wealth of experience there, talking chassis. Marty Chance out of Neil Chance Racing Converters is going to be a guest and talk about converter tuning. Of course, Dennis Taylor Motorsports Products, and Brad Thompson, the Tommy Gun Speed Shop, going to be there. We're going to talk about safety. And all those guys, even Dennis talking about safety, but Dennis has a lot of experience as a top fuel racer, top alcohol racer, nostalgia nitro funny car racer. We're going to talk about a topic, and then we're going to discuss it and kind of have it out there. And then we're also going to have those panel of guests to be able to add to the conversation. So I think, like I said last year, if anybody comes to the CAT seminar, sits through the whole deal, and then, says, Will, I don't really think I got anything out of it, we'll hand you money back, no questions asked. So, it's, a lot of different perspective and a learning opportunity. And, even as an experienced crew chief myself, if I had the opportunity to go listen to another experienced crew chief and a panel of guests, I'd definitely take advantage of it just to see another perspective. And, that's definitely what's helped shape my tuning career, is working with a number of different people and seeing a number of different approaches.
Yeah. As regardless of what your profession is, when you go to a professional training seminar and you are around like-minded people who are striving for excellence in their field, it's not just what's said in the seminar itself. While all that is very, very valuable, sometimes what happens when you adjourn and you get a chance to go break bread together and share some time together, the conversations that evolve from the information being presented, sometimes those are some of the nuggets that people carry with them into their next week at work or their next race down the line. It's some of those synergies that are developed through that interaction that brings some of the value, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, like you brought up there, the discussion that happened, and being able to expand on topics, and sometimes things take a different, you answer a question, and that opens up another discussion, a question and an answer, and it just, obviously we got to stay on track to a certain degree onto the agenda, but we had a lot of time there for. I was worried, that the biggest thing last year was. It's hard to pencil in, okay, how long is this topic going to take? Because I can ramble on, so like, okay, I got to keep myself in check here and not go down a rabbit hole. But I mean, we actually just kept on looking at the clock and the time, and and it's like, man, we're ahead of schedule, so let's just keep on talking. And I mean, we didn't really have a lot of dead time, and worked through some things, and it worked out good. And I've got a lot of ideas to make it better. So. If you came last year, I definitely encourage you to come this year. We're going to add to it, and like I said, we got some more people on board to add to the knowledge and the discussion besides just myself. So I think it's going to be really good, and I look forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward to being able to have a discussion with Rob Windland, because I'm going to ask him questions about the stuff in nitro that I'm not familiar with. Murph McKinney is just a wealth of information when it comes to chassis building, and discussions I've had in the past with him. I mean, the dude really knows the science of chassis, and he put some science to it instead of it kind of being voodoo of put this bar here or do this, that, and the other. And that's really what this what I try to teach is the approach and problem solving and trying to quantify things, rather than just, throwing something at the wall and see if it sticks, type of method. I mean, I've done it, sometimes, it's kind of how I came up, being a young tuner, is you go out there and try things, but, being more experienced, and really the whole teaching deal came from when I was doing the tuning show on Drag Illustrated. And, the old saying, if you really want to know something or learn something, try to teach it. And I mean, it really sharpened my game doing the show and trying to expand on stuff and teaching stuff, because it's one thing to be drinking beer in the pits at night and trying to talk about what this is and why this works and how this happens, and shooting the bull at night. But when you really got to put on a class and talk your way through a topic, kind of look into it a little bit deeper and make sure you know what the hell you're talking about. So that's quantifying things is really, over the last 5-10 years, what I've really tried to work on, and explaining things. And years ago I heard Warren Johnson say something to the effect of you got to understand the why of what's everything's going on, and not just give it window dressing. So
well, looking at the list of guests that you have coming in, any one of those by themselves would be worth the price of admission to come and hear. My goodness gracious, with the amount of championships that have been won by cars built by Murph McKinney, and of course we're thrilled that he is one of our series sponsors for Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, and Dennis Taylor the same way. And you go with Rob Windland and with the Neil Chance converters, and of course our very own Brad Thompson with Tommy Gun Speed Shop, who just finished redoing the Blue Thunder Camaro funny car. But any one of those guys would be worth spending some time with. But to have the opportunity to spend a couple of days there, not only within the seminar, but the added time, it is certainly going to be something that I think is very well worth the money and the time that it's going to take to get in there and participate in it. So we do invite everyone and encourage people to do it. If you've been on the All Things Chaos page, you've seen the announcement about the CATS, the Crew and Tuning Seminar. Get yourself registered for that. It is 90 days away, but it's going to be here before we know it. That could possibly be one of the best investments any racing team could make in their own successful operation, not only for 2025, but for as long as you plan to race. The items, the education that you receive at this seminar. And again, Will and I were talking, this starts early on January 31st. So you might want to be making your reservation for January the 30th. We do have the special rate there at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. And of course, the information is there so that you get that very valuable rate and get yourself there, because you're not going to want to miss anything. And it starts at 8 o'clock sharp on January 31st. But it will be very well worth it. And we salute you, Will, for putting this together. And I know that Chris is excited with CHAOS being in the house with the Champions Banquet there as well. And of course, Chris was with you there for last year's event. This one is going to be great. Now, so we've talked about that, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit more before the evening is over. But you've got some guests with you tonight, don't you?
Yeah, looking forward to the 2025 season. Obviously I've been involved with Keith Zimmer and the Penny Pincher for a number of years, and a couple of other racers approached me at the end of the season last year. Bill Bernard and his Funny Car Chaos car, and also John Troxel and the Brutus team reached out to me about working with them in 2025. So we're just all going to kind of work together as a team and try to see what we can do to conquer the chaos.
Well, I will tell you, Chaos Nation, you saw it broadcast a little earlier in the day on Facebook that Will put this out. But you talk about a group of successful racers that are kind of coming together and consulting together, and might be looking to step things up in 2025. You look at their track records, look at how successful they have all been in their form of racing. Whether it's Keith with the back-to-back championships in Outlaw Fuel Altered Association racing, and just stepping into the fray of Funny Car Chaos and making an impact immediately. And then, of course, the Brutus team and that Grinder team, man, they are always a force with which to be reckoned. So you guys have got a lot to talk about, and I don't want to get in the way. You guys share a little bit about what we can look for in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, they're all talented racers. Keith was successful, and I've been on the other end of getting my ass kicked by Bill Bernard at least one good time I can remember. And I mean, I've always respected what John and Chris have done with that Brutus car. It's always a consistent car right there in the 4.0s, 14s, right out of the trailer. They're going to go right down the racetrack and put on a show doing it. So really honored that these racers have trusted me to help them out. And Keith and Bill, with the screw blown cars, they'll be obviously going after the A field deal. John and Chris, I mean, they got a car that can run, feel like they got the potential to get into the 390s, potentially 380s, and probably could get into the A field deal, but probably more shooting towards the B and C field deal, and trying to raise some hell over there on that side of the equation.
Well, after finishing number 5 and having a big finish in 2024, the latest in a succession of good finishes, John Troxel, you guys in that Brutus car have been making noise and making waves for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, we've been trying. Yeah, we sure have.
Now, you've got some changes going on with your business, and I saw that you are looking to perhaps find a buyer.
Right. I'd like to, life comes with an expiration, and I'd like to get rid of it before I expire, not leave it to my wife and kids to get rid of. I still like it, but I'd like to back off a little bit from it and have a little bit more time to, fool with funny cars and collector cars. I like collector cars also. And, my wife and I, we have a hard time getting away sometimes and travel a little bit. So I just like to slow down a little bit there.
Well, having been over to your place and seen your operation, my goodness, what your creativity and the way you have taken that and turned it into a good living. It will certainly be a good living for somebody that chooses to be a part of it. And when you guys started off racing, it was started off Funny Car Chaos Racing, I should say, with the old car, and got to see you guys at MoCan and bringing Roland Leong to the races. That was eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah, it was just a dream come true to have Roland help you, and it just evolved. We used to put some events on and got to be friends with Roland. And he said, "I'll help you," and I said, "I can't afford you." And he said, "No, I'll help you. You're my friend. I'll help you." And he taught us so much that we just never even dreamed about. We didn't know. We just didn't know. And he really helped us a lot. And he sure didn't have anything to gain helping us. He wasn't gaining a thing out of it. He just did it out of friendship. It just shows, what kind of guy he was. But we
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
absolutely. And man, for the rest of us who had not had a chance to meet him, that was one of those bucket list things that I didn't even know what I would ever have a chance to do, but it was great. Now, it highlights something that we're talking about on this particular show tonight. Is a lot of us have aspirations to do great things, and we get into it, and sometimes we find out that there's a lot more to it than we may have recognized. You guys leaned on Roland, and now you're taking that same approach and talking to Will Hanna.
Right.
And so the ongoing education process, so you're still thinking the same way, right?
Right. Yeah, we're just trying to do better, and we haven't made thousands of runs down a track, with an alcohol car, and the technology is it's hard for us. I'll tell you, when my training on a computer was my wife showed me how to turn one on. That's it. So it's just tough, and Justin's kind of up on the computer, but he can't always go, and so it's just we need some help, and hopefully we can get it figured out a little bit more, and learn some things that we didn't know. We think we have the base down, we think we're capable of that, obviously, but we'd like to do a little bit better. So that's what we're going to try.
Well, that is great when you recognize that you want to go someplace that you haven't yet been, and you guys have been almost to the top of the mountain, but you're still in pursuit of that championship. So, I salute you with that.
Thank you.
Now, Bill Bernard, you guys have really made a commitment to racing in chaos, and I know there was a lot of us that were like, yes, we were looking forward to seeing you, because all you were doing for a while was coming down and taking everybody's money at Ennis at the Funny Car Chaos Classic when you got a couple of those wins. But you guys are a very strong program, and so your reflection, your take on the CAT seminar and getting the best information that you can get. Tell us about your mindset going into 2025.
Our deal was we started, strong, came out of Ennis with a win. And then after that, it seemed like the car was only going down the racetrack about 65, 70% of the time. And so we'd struggle in qualifying. And then it seemed inevitably we always ended up putting ourselves in that number 5 hole. And we're running number 1 qualifier, and we're actually still lost even though the car went down the racetrack. So I approached Will just to bring a little bit different perspective to our program. So we're all 4 of us are staying the same. Nothing's changing there, but we are bringing Will in to just put a second set of eyes on the computer of, what are we missing? Where can we get better? And teaming up with these other 2 cars, can we share a little information and try and go out and maybe make sure Shane doesn't get a championship again next year with Ken?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit further to go, and always recognizing that while you have great people on your team, as good as people are, unless you're winning the championship every single year, there's always room for some improvement. And so that's a great idea to continue with the quest for perfection. Now,
Yeah.
Keith, you guys came out strong in 2023 and or 2024. Well, 2023 you came out strong as well. And some of us that had seen you guys racing before, we were expecting, big things, and we got them. You delivered, and so going into 2024, it looked like this could be part of that top card, so to speak. And had some unfortunate breakage during the 2024 season. So, what's your outlook going into 25?
Well, the plan for 25 hopefully is not to break a screw blower again. Somehow, hopefully the third year is a charm and we don't have any parts breakage. But our goal is the car's pretty much set up. How we ran it in Mocan's, how we're going to run it next season. Hopefully no breakage. It's we can run at the top. Will's obviously got a good combination, so it's keeping the car together. It's all the same crew. We intend on running all the points races and hopefully be there at the end in 25 and not repeat what we did in 24.
Well, that would be great, and I know that your growing fan base is excited. I'm speaking to all of you. Your growing fan base. You guys have got legions of fans that come out and support you at every race, and I know you would back me up on that. And it's exciting to see the brand of excitement that you bring to our fans at these CHAOS races, and the fact that you're going to all the races and you're continuing to build that race by race, year by year. You've got a few years under your belt on this deal now. And did you imagine when you started CHAOS Racing that the growth curve would be what it is? And following up on that, where do you see it going? Bill, let me start with you.
I think this thing is just going to continue to grow. Chris has a pretty good grasp of what this sport is doing, and there's other sanctioning bodies out there right now that they're bleeding us dry financially. The travel cost alone, and like my guys, they're all volunteer. So when they keep us out on the road until Sunday night, and then we're not getting home until Tuesday, if we're on the other side of the country, so getting done on a Saturday evening and being able to travel on Sunday to get ourselves home, that's huge. And I've seen people make suggestions to Chris, and Chris stand his ground and go, no, I don't think that's going to work. Looking at what he did on the Nitro CHAOS side and going, you know what, this A fuel deal is not going to work. It's going to kill my class. And standing his ground and saying, we're not going to do it because I want this to be successful. So I think he's doing what's best for the racer, and yet still, making it to where it's successful for him and his family to continue to do it.
All right. And you guys, are you seeing the influx? I mean, after a race and you go out and you've met people at these tracks, are you selling shirts? Are you getting more support and lined up race to race? Let me go with John on that one.
Well, yes, we get a lot of people from around the country and that are interested in what we're doing, and they'd like to see the car. I think somewhat they don't understand, like, we can't go everywhere. We're still like everybody's volunteer. It's all out of my pocket. There's just so much we can do, but yes, there's a lot of people that really want to see the event. They were glad to see it. Yeah, we talked to people from all over, but So we're really enjoying it. I think Chris, like it said, is keeping it in line. But we can only travel so far and do so much. That's the deal. We're not professional. We don't make a living at this. This is our hobby. So we're doing the best we can with what
Yeah,
we've got.
you bet.
I'll,
And thank
I'll,
goodness. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll add. I mean, obviously I do some NHRA racing, and NHRA national event, the big show is obviously the top of the ladder, so to speak. But I mean, from people that I've invited out to chaos races, specifically the Funny Car Classic in Ennis, I have more friends and family and acquaintances, just people I know from past and whatnot that are in the area, get them out there. And I mean, they have such an experience, just being able to get their kids in race cars and getting up close. And I mean, it's a hell of a show. I mean, it's nonstop. For the most part, you got funny car chaos, you got 50, 60 funny cars, and you got alcohol, big show, blown nitro, injected nitro, and everything in between. And then you roll right into the nitro chaos class, and you got altereds and funny cars and everything, front engine dragsters, and I mean, it's cool. And then right after that, here we go right back into funny car chaos again. So I mean, it's really bang bang bang, and it's a good heads up show. And I've had a lot of good feedback from friends and acquaintances outside of my racing acquaintances. Get them out to a race and get them to a chaos race, and it's just really a great experience. Kind of more of an intimate setting than the big show. Not to take nothing away from the NHRA national event, the NHRA series and whatnot, but I definitely see that growing every year, and you see more stories, and you see the fan base growing, and more tracks wanting us to get out there and come see them.
Yeah, that Chris fields a lot of invitations from all across the country, and like you guys have all echoed, it's a working man series, and if you have to be gone for a whole week and can't get back to work until Tuesday, you leave on Wednesday night and get home on Tuesday, that takes a real bite out of your business or out of your job, and therefore your income. So we have to be careful on what we agree to do. Rule number one, as Chris has always said, is what? Have fun.
Have fun.
And that's right. And we've got Keith, are you still having fun driving your funny car?
I have fun every time I'm at the racetrack. So if I stop having fun, I won't go. But I certainly have not reached that point yet.
Yeah. Well, and that is good. And Will, you make a good point. And one thing about it is we're not out to take anything from any other series in terms of anything. We put on a great series. We try to make it the best that we can. And so far, our racers are loving it. And when the racers are having a good time and they're putting on a great show, guess who else is having a good time? The fans are, and they keep coming out and coming out. And so as we have the opportunity for you guys to do things that you want to do, Will, what else would you like to cover about your upcoming consulting gig with these three fine racers and that I might have missed?
I'm looking forward to the team aspect of it. I've never, I've worked with multiple teams in the past, at events, and it's, just kind of as people, happen to have two customers at a race, and, sometimes they're different classes, but, really, they're three different cars, and they, obviously John's car with a roots blower and, being a nostalgia car, shorter wheelbase is, a little bit different, but with me being involved in all three and, the communication and racing together, it's really more of a team aspect of sharing information and, may not be the exact numbers, exact jet or so forth or, whatnot, but to be able to apply, okay, we got aggressive with Bill's car, I can, went down the racetrack. Well, I can take that over to Keith's car and I can take that, over to, John and Chris's deal and, kind of vice versa. And, everybody, kind of learns and, rising tide lifts all ships type of deal. So I think each of the three teams, able to share data are a little bit stronger. We're making, 3 runs together and sharing data and information all together. And so that's definitely an advantage. And, hopefully, all three cars are in the final, and most likely, if it goes to plan, it'll be Bill and Keith in the A field, and John and Chris, the B or C field, final round, and duking it out, and we'll have two winners and one runner up.
Well, that is
it's a lot easier said than done.
It is. It's an ambitious plan, but you have to have a goal if you're going to ever achieve it.
Don't get me wrong. That's a lot easier said than done. There's a lot of really tough racers, and I've enjoyed. We enjoyed going out there running good in Mocan, the last race of the year, and we kind of did a similar deal last year in Baton Rouge. We ran real strong at the end. We didn't close the deal with the win, but we kind of had the low ET car, and the only downside of that is you kind of you put the target on your back over the off season, and there's some really good racers, and I guarantee you, Ken Singleton and Lawson and the Williams brothers and a whole host of other teams out there are going to be gunning for not us, but the winner's circle at all the chaos races. So we got our work cut out for us, but I'm just excited to work with these racers. I've known Bill for a long time. Like I said, I've been on the other side to get my ass kicked by him and Tony and their alcohol funny car. Really strong racer. I got a lot of respect for John and Chris and that whole Brutus team. So I'm honored that they're giving me a chance to work with them, and hopefully I can do them well next year.
Excellent. Yep. Well, for all of you guys that are bringing your funny car out for the full season of Funny Car Chaos in 2025, we've got some new tracks that we're going to be visiting, going up to Byron and going up to Great Lakes. And of course, we already go to some fantastic tracks. Any new place? Is some of this going to be new real estate for you guys?
Oh yeah,
it's all most of them are new for me. Never been to Eddyville, never been to Cordova, never been to Union Grove, never been to Byron. So yeah. I'd say most of them are all new.
We've run at Byron and Union Grove in the past in the old car.
Okay.
See, that's where we'll be able to ask John, okay, what's the track like? A little information sharing right off the bat. But I guess the biggest thing looking at this year, and, I've had conversation with Keith and Bill about this, and, also John, is, the level of tracks that we're racing at this year, as far as racing surfaces and, not having the elevation of Albuquerque, it seemed like it's going to be a faster year as a whole, because I think just the quality racing surfaces that we're going to be racing on. We don't have, some of the tracks that, are unfortunately not on the schedule anymore, are not quite on par, some of the tracks they picked up. At least that's what I understand. So I think, the track's going to be a little bit less of a limitation. I think you'll see faster times across the board at the Funny Car Chaos races this year.
Well, it'll be quick, it'll be fast, it'll be close. And I go back to this almost all the time because of exactly the era that I grew up in. When I think about going to Union Grove, Great Lakes, man, that was one of those in the magazines, from the days when I was a little kid and seeing my heroes in Funny Car. And you guys who are already somebody's hero, racing your funny cars at those same tracks, that's just a little bit of kind of gives you a little bit of a chill. At least it does me. And for us to be going to those tracks this season and the anticipation that's coming in, you mentioned some of the teams, and I already can imagine Chris Williams and Ken Singleton that are seeing this presentation here tonight, and they're going, hey, it's going to be really good racing in 2025, which is just a bonus for the fans, because it is, you guys are kind of throwing down a gauntlet here and saying, we're planning on doing very, very well. And so is anybody going to answer the call? I think there's going to be quite a few that will say, all right, I'm in.
I'll add, I'm not going to call out one of my racer I worked for years ago, one of his crew guys. I think we had run it up at a race, and he was down in the dumps and had a bad attitude that we lost in the final. And I kind of said, hey, dude, look, a couple of years ago, y'all were the new guys rolling into the track. Y'all, we're setting up the pits. And you look at the return, look out the pit road, and here comes Vern Motes pulling in the track, and you're like, oh shit, that's Vern Motes, or oh hell, there's Cy Chesterman. It's one of those type of deals. And I told him, now we're running good. You're, winning races and going to the finals. Some new team down the pit road, whenever he pulled in, they're like, oh shit, that's, so-and-so pulling in. So, that's, the really cool thing about the chaos and the lightning and the bottles that, Chris has really captured with it is that with the A, B, and C, and sometimes D field concept, you got to, you can bring your hot rod to the track, and you got a reasonable chance of competing, qualifying, and being out there. And I've been very, very blessed, and I can't stress this enough, to be able to not only tune at this level with the caliber of cars that I've been associated with, and been blessed to have the success with some teams. Driven years ago, driven alcohol funny car, but I remember what it was like just wanting to get that chance to go top alcohol racing, and how damn excited I was the first divisional race that I was really a part of as a team, just watching parts, and just, man, we're on a top alcohol dragster with Jay Meyer. Then we're at a national event. Hell yeah, we qualified 16. We're in the show, and then we upset somebody and racing on Sunday, and just that progression. So I remember, and I got to put myself in check sometimes, and hey, you were that little guy one time coming up. So but you get the full spectrum, and the little guys have a puncher's chance and have a chance to have success and go after the championship just as much as the biggest buck, fast A car field. As a matter of fact, last couple of years, we've seen somebody, purchase show that it can be done from the B field, and really it's anybody's game.
Yep. And three of your top 5 cars in 2024 came from the B and C field. And so the concept has demonstrated that you don't have to have the unlimited budget to have a chance to compete and to win, and certainly not to have fun. So it's continuing to prove itself out year over year, and this should be the biggest and best year yet. Man, it's go ahead.
No, I'll let you finish.
No, I'm so anxious for the racing season to start again. I've done a couple of races since the chaos season was over, and it was, it seemed like we finished so early this year. It's like, oh my goodness, we have such a long off season. I am very much ready for chaos to kick off again, and it's all the way until the 1st of April. So that brings us back to the CAT seminar and the CHAOS Champions Banquet in Tulsa there at the end of January. It'll be kind of a fix 90 days out before we'll have another 60 days before we go racing in chaos. But getting a chance to get together and rub elbows and shake hands and give some high fives and some hugs to some people that we really enjoy seeing at these races through the season. And I just really can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, that's another benefit of going, even if you don't like what I talk about at the seminar, there's going to be a whole bunch of racers at a casino, having adult beverages. So what the hell could possibly go wrong at a bunch of drag racers hitting a casino?
Nothing at all.
Some racers could have a lot more budget. Some racers may not have quite as much budget.
That may be the secret to Wayne Hoffman, is he did pretty well at the casino last year, and he finished 4th in the points this year. So who knows? That might be the secret to success.
I plan on picking their pocket in the practice year race. I kind of let myself down, but I'm damn sure gunning for them Friday night.
Yeah. Well, guys, I have really enjoyed having you here, and I look forward to seeing what you do on the racetrack. Now, I've got questions for all of you that I could continue to ask as long as you want to keep going, but I do know that you've got things to do as well. So thank you very much for tuning in. What else do we need to cover with this HMS team?
just like I said again, great group of racers. We're all going to try to work together, and we got our works cut out for us. Like I said, this is definitely a tough group of racers and a great family in Funny Car Chaos. It really is the deal of everybody's family, everybody's friends for the most part. Up until you roll through the water box, and then you're trying to rip their head off and send them home packing. But after that's all done, we're all back friends again. But it's from a tuning standpoint. I mean, I love the fact that there's no rules, and for the most part, other than have fun and a few safety rules, and it allows for creativity. And I try to work with my guys, and how do we achieve results without just absolutely breaking the bank? And so having some flexibility there, or unlimited flexibility, so to speak, kind of allows us to try to run good numbers without really killing the bank account any more than we already are, or they are, I should say. It's not my money. I try to do my best job spending their money.
He does a good job at it.
No doubt. So I know that some of you guys, or well, all of you guys have some people that help you make it happen, and that probably wouldn't hurt to give them a little shout out, because we want to recognize them too, because it does take a lot of folks to make one of these beasts eat like it's supposed to and perform like it's supposed to. And from the tuning side to the driving side to the sponsorship side. So who you guys want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, I'll go first. So obviously Will, appreciate everything Will does to get the car running and make sure I have all the right parts. And got to thank Ricky Howell for coming to the races. He's a wealth of knowledge, and I know the car in the bottom end is going to be right when Ricky's working on it. And Doug Morrison for everything he does on the car back at his shop. And Cody and Cindy Draper helped me out a lot. Some good friends there. And just appreciate everybody. Mom and Dad, they hold my race car to the track, so couldn't do it without them. And my wife and daughter let me go. So it's a good time.
Absolutely it is. And friends of mine from a while back too, Cody and Cindy Draper, whenever you mention their names, it always makes me smile. Bill?
For me, I mean, the first one I got to thank is Dave and Felicia Olson with Mile High Crankshafts. They help us a lot, keep us in crankshafts and keep us going down the highway. And then I'm very fortunate. My crew, we've been together since 2016, so we've run through NHRA, Midwest Drag Race Series, and Funny Car Chaos all together. So I got Tony Eben, Jeff Leith, and Jeff's son Ryan. So very fortunate about that. And a huge thank you to Dean Dubbin at DMP Awnings. He has constantly kept me covered. So, and really looking forward to next year with Will Hanna.
Outstanding. John?
Well, I want to thank my wife, who doesn't say a word when I do all this stuff and helps. And thanks to Chris and Becky and Don and Brenda and Randy and Brittany and Justin. And Dennis Mothershead helps us when he can. But all of our crew, we've been together, gosh, I don't know, a long time. But couldn't do it without them.
I know that's right. And you guys bring a high level of excitement and enthusiasm to the races with you. It is simply fantastic. So, well, Will, it has been a blast talking with you and the gang tonight. It's been a great way for us to close out the month before we go trick-or-treating tomorrow night. And I think you guys are working on not exactly some treats for the competition in 2025.
Yeah, like I said, just looking forward to it. And the only thing I'm not liking is that March is so far down the calendar. But there's a lot of work to be done before then, and get things ready to do the CAT seminar, the Funny Car Chaos Banquet. just looking forward to it. And my mind's really, Chris has been, been working with Chris on, getting things ready to go and getting the show announced and getting things rolled out, the guests lined up. And, over the last week or so, it's really, my mind's, been going over different things and topics and, things to add and, put into place and discussions and questions and, just really looking forward to it. We're going to, like I said, it's not so much learning, the intricacies of any particular combination as much as it is going to be going over the methodology of how to what's been successful for me and teams that I've, worked for and learned and, between the, everything from organization to, being organized not only in the pit, but with your tuning and record keeping and how you approach that and things to look for in the data. It's at the end of the day, tuning boils down to successful tuners are elite problem solvers, and they know their combination and they use that problem solving skills to find the edge and stay on the edge. That's really what separates the tuners that are at the front of the pack from some people that may or may not be. Is that they're is how being able to quantify where the edge is, whether it's what the track can handle, whether it's how hard you can lean and push your engine, all the above, and you keep on pushing that concept to just about every aspect of your race car. The best in the business, Steve Boggs, Norm Grimes, Frank Manzo, and those types. The experience they have, the way that they approach racing, allows them to, know where that edge is. That's experience. It's also, doing things, taking steps and keeping good records, keeping good notes, and we're going to cover all that. We're going to go over, how to, kind of a winning setup to. Organization back at the pit, organization, how you approaching record keeping and, go over the different areas of the car, kind of break things down to how they work in relation to everything else. And so, you have a better understanding of, how everything works. And that's where we're bringing in these technical special guests to, not only to have me talking about a converter tuning from, my perspective and experience, but to have the guy, Marty Chance, that's got a wealth of knowledge on across the board to be able to add to the conversation, answer people's questions. And, another thing that we didn't mention earlier that we're doing this year is we're going to have a breakout session for an hour each day. And each of these guests are going to kind of have their own area and be able to answer questions and talk about different things pertaining to their particular sphere of the motorsports world. So, Shane Lawson's going to have his car on display, and we'll have Murph. That's a Murph McKinney car, and we'll have Murph there to be able to talk about things and show people things. And Keith's bringing his funny car up, so we'll have a couple funny cars. I believe Gary Wheeler's Grand Prix, I forget the owner's name, is going to have their car on display, so there'll be a front engine nitro car there. So. Just a lot of things to look at. I think, there's some of these companies are going to bring some things down to look at, kind of in a booth, so to speak, or a table, talk about things. And, just a wealth of knowledge above and beyond myself this year. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah.
I hope I'm able to learn something from the discussions with those racers with a lot of experience.
Well, and I bet you will be, because people that are looking to learn, looking to improve, looking to add to their base of knowledge, when you're looking for it, you'll find it. If you're not, you may not, but if you're looking for it, you'll find it. And we're talking about John Brook, Grand Prix Autosport, has got, and they are the title sponsor for this year's Funny Car Chaos event, and maybe for the whole weekend. But they got that championship in Nitro Chaos, the first championship in 2023, and so it's good to know that group is going to be there and that they've got their car on display. Hey, the first day of the seminar is going to be tuning, right?
Yeah, last year we kind of started off, we had a half day on Friday at the Motorplex, and then we rolled into a full day session on Saturday. And so I didn't want to break up the tuning day into two segments since we're doing a full day, a half day here this week or for the CAT seminar this year. So we're going to roll right into tuning on the first day and really make sure we cover a lot of different points. You kind of see the itinerary of what we're going to go over, and having the guests kind of have their own topic discussions pertaining to them, and then every single question or every single topic we're going to kind of have a discussion about it, kind of wrap things up, and okay, Rob, what do you think about this, or Dennis, or if they have something to add. I mean, I'm sure each one of them will from their experience. That's answering questions or somebody. It's just going to be. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it growing and having maybe a little bit, having as many. Hopefully, have as many of the same people back. Also maybe more racers, kind of a more centralized location in the Tulsa area this year, and just really looking forward to it. And like I said, we're going to get it's the methodology of how to break things down, problem solving, how I personally approach, and we'll touch base with Winland and some of the other racers there of how they've approached things, but how I look at a track and having a plan, executing a plan, decision making, and that's huge right there. Is you gotta, okay, what are the potential conditions? What are my potential situations going to be? And in the pit, when you have time to kind of sit and study and look at the data, and okay, if the track's okay, I think the track's going to be 110 degrees. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, if the track's warmer than what I thought, this is what I need to do. If the track's even better than what I thought, this is what I need to do. If it takes 372 to get lane choice, this is what I need to do. But if it takes a 368 to get lane choice, this is what I need to do. That way, and at least for myself, when in years past, or even sometimes, you can have a plan until you get punched in the mouth, like Mike Tyson says. But the more of a plan you have ready when you go to the staging lanes, then you can just execute on your plan. And if your plan was wrong, you mess up, it didn't work out, well, come back and learn from it and refine your plan and your methodology of how what are your steps you take per every 10 degree track temp? What are your things you do? How do you handle bald spots? How do you, I need more performance. I need, okay, we're safe, racing smart, your Q1 approach. It's just a lot of stuff we're going to talk, without, jumping the shark too much here tonight. But I think just being a part of that discussion, I think, especially the newer you are, or even an experienced racer that's done it for a while. I've really benefited from racing, learning from, of course, my dad, was always a wealth of knowledge, and, learned a lot from him and the way he explained things in a simple manner. But, Jay Meyer, the late Jay Meyer, learned a lot from him. Tom Conway learned a lot racing, different teams with him. Yeah. Then I was fortunate, Steve Harker raced with him and learned top alcohol funny car racing a lot with him, for a couple of years. And just some other people, Laura Vasquez, went to a race or two, kind of hung out with Jeff Bohr and them. And that was, they kind of did things different. But I could go on and different people I've hung around, worked with, seen some things, talked to, and take little tidbits and, just things I've learned over the years. And, you just different types of racing. I've been fortunate, top alcohol dragster, alcohol funny car, A fuel, pro mod, no prep, mud racing. And you're able to learn a little bit, from each one of those, or at least I have. And, I'm going to try to share as much of that experience and, what I've learned from it, what I feel like's helped made me successful. And I'm going to try to cram it into a day and a half.
Yeah, which is a tall order, but you got to start somewhere, and you've got the opportunity to share some of that wisdom with some racers that really, really want to know. Well, I know that the racers that will sign up and get registered for this event, get their reservations made at the hotel, are in for one of the best events that might be out there all year long. And
we got And we got a big announcement in regards to the CATS show, seminar. I'm just going to say a lot more people are going to like it, and we're going to announce that next week. And it'll be able to expand the reach quite a bit of the CATS show. We'll leave it at that, and we'll announce it hopefully next week. Everything in place.
Okay, something else to look forward to. That's always great to hear. Okay, what else, Will? I appreciate you being here on the show tonight and enlightening us with the lowdown on what's coming up at the CATS seminar. And of course, we'll be watching for that big announcement next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And like I said, just into the off-season mode, we've been ordering parts, getting things, we're kind of really, Bill and Keith's combination are going to be really, really similar. So getting things, organized and, getting parts and whatnot, to get the cars where they're as similar as possible as we can. And, working with John and on, getting his car to, up to, with my recommendations. I mean, like I said, it's a good car that, they get the job done and, able to be competitive and win races. Is hopefully I'm able to add to the equation with them, and looking forward to working with them. He's going to bring the car down sometime December, January. I'm going to go over it, wire it, and hopefully get everything ready to go for the 2025 season. And then before you know it, it'll be time to start doing some testing and get ready for March. But right now, looking forward to it, and seems like forever, but it'll be right around the corner.
Oh man, it moves so quickly. Well, this is one of those times that I will be glad that the time moves quickly.
Yeah, we're still like I said, I've always tell my customers there's a calendar, and we're up until about the middle or end of January is I call the ground shipping phase of the off season. You start getting into February, the first, end of January, early February. Now you're into the 3-day, not shipping at ground. You're in a 3-day. Mm-hmm. Middle of February, you're in the 2-day, and into February, early March, it's red label. Get it here yesterday. So
right,
those are kind of the phases. And Tom Conway, said, would always joke. He said it doesn't matter when you get started on the off season. It always seemed like you're always something holding you up, and you're waiting on something right up into the last minute.
Yep. Well, there's a lot of folks that are thinking more about it right now than they were before we started this conversation tonight, and I appreciate you for helping to elevate the consciousness on getting started for the 2025 season. It's going to be a good one. They've all been good so far, and this has got all the markings of one of the best seasons, or quite possibly the best season we've ever had, as we continue to add to over 208 funny car teams that have run in Funny Car Chaos, and getting a bunch of them in the Nitro Chaos ranks as well. It's going to be a big celebration at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Tulsa coming up the end of January, and the CATS seminar is going to kick us off with it, and it will be great.
Appreciate having me on the show, and always good talking to you. And like I said, just really looking forward to seeing everybody at the banquet and getting out there and burning some alcohol and nitro, burning some rubber.
Absolutely, can't wait. Again, Will, thank you so much for being a part of it tonight, and for all of you out there in Chaos Nation, it's a big deal to have you tuned in with us. In all this conversation, you think back to some of the things. Dino Fate is one of the announcers up at Cordova Dragway, and he did a book with Arnie the Farmer Beswick talking about keeping the records on all the tracks that they went to around the country. Don Garlitz writes his own books, and we got to see him at MoCan, and a very, very memorable time. Some of those memorable experiences that we get to have as being a part of the Chaos. Well, Don Garlitz, of course, he kept records on every run he ever made at every track he ever went to. But what if you're somebody that's new to funny car or to nitro racing, and you don't have all those records to go back to? The more you can learn about the problem-solving methods that Will Hanna is talking about and will be teaching, along with this all-star lineup of professional racing people, That's going to be one of the things that I don't know how you get there, but I know that you got 90 days to figure it out. So it'll be well worth the money. It'll be well worth the time, and it might be the best investment that you ever make in your racing operation. So if you haven't found it on Facebook, it's CATS, Crew and Tuning Seminar. It's January 31st and February 1st at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Catoosa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa metro area. I'd get there early, January 30th. Make sure that you get your reservations made so that you're there on the property January 30th so that you can wake up, have breakfast, and go get started at the Crew and Tuning Seminar. It's second annual in conjunction with the championship banquet for Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, that awards banquet. It was so much fun last year, and we ran out of room in the room, so we've got a bigger room for it, a bigger meeting room, and it promises to be one of the best nights and one of the most fun events that you have ever been to outside of going to the drags. So for all of us here and in the world of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, thank you, and I really do mean thank you for tuning in, for being a part of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, whatever role you play. For all of our sponsors and friends, we thank you so much. And I'll bid you a fond farewell, and I'll remind you, be kind, be well, be awesome. Good night. We'll see you on our next episode coming soon.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.